Do 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 do. Ba da 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 da. Ba ba da. Ba ba da. Do do. It begins. Da da da. Doo ba doo. I hope you're all ready for some horror games. Aw, poo. Aw, poo. Okay, I'm gonna get the game all loaded up. I just wanted to wait until after I got things situated proper like. Oh, God. I'm so excited. Oh, it's a Mayora. What up? It begins. Now, you're going to have to tell me now, Mayora, if it's too loud, because the beginning is incredibly loud. Like, I have to turn it down because it's so loud it actually makes me flinch. So, like, is it too loud? Should I, like, make it quieter? Is it at the perfect level now? Because I'm going to just tell you now, it's very loud at the beginning, because I had to actually do a couple tests first before I even started doing my setup. So I need to know. Can you show me? I want to know what these strangers like me. People are messaging me. Also, tell like everybody else to like come in here and watch me like panic, because Higurashi always makes me panic. You may hear my heater in the background a little bit. It may add some ambience. Who knows? I'm also just generally moving around. It's gonna get loud. It's like that beginning part gets like really, really loud. Just like it's a sudden loudness too. Like you don't expect it to get as loud as it does, but it does. I'm gonna ask Raven if she wants to come in here. Not into the call. I meant like into like watching me play Higurashi. You may hear the clinking of my wristband, my bracelet pressing against the thing. I'm gonna. Everyone should know about me playing this. And the quiet whispers of I'm in panic. Why does everyone have to go to bed now? It's too early for bed. I mean, I know it's like 10:40 where most people are, but you know, it's still early. It's still early enough for. Do I need to do a little bit more? I'm gonna do it just a wee bit more for the stream. A little bit. That's it. Because at the rate it's going, I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start. Should I start, Mayura? Tell me if I should start. I'm totally up for starting now. Unless you want to, like, tell other people, like, hey, come in here for, like, the first, like, 10 minutes. David's all like, it's like time zones, yo. It's like, it's only 10:40. I'm telling people to come into the stream. Come watch me play Higurashi. Okay. Well, alright then. I'm going to start. And I'm going to cause myself mild panic. Also sent Raven and is just like, aw, okay. Okay, that's fair. Alright, I need to get the game part actually open. I'm gonna move it a little bit on my screen so I can actually see the chat clearly. Alright, I'm gonna start. Ugh. Welcome to the world of Higurashi when they cry. The Onikakushi arc will be the opening inviting you into this world. Don't play tough. Just enjoy life in Hinamizawa to the fullest. The difficulty is extremely high, but I hope you will enjoy the reward. Please do not lament. I will forgive you, even if the world will not forgive you. Please do not lament. I will forgive you, even if you will not forgive the world. So please tell me, what will it take for you to forgive me? Frederica Berncastel. This is a work of fiction. Any resemblance is coincidental. AD 1983, the early summer of the 58th year of the Showa era. If I was going to be ripped apart anyways, having my body ripped apart would have been far better. I trusted her. No, I still trust her. Even in this very moment, I trust her. But I'm starting to realize I only wanted to trust her because I refused to accept the truth. It was as if I was trying to convince myself with a silly sobbing voice, through those tears making a mess of my face. That mechanical, repetitious sound finally stilled, and everything fell silent. Only the cry of the cicadas remained, annoyingly loud. And yet, I felt as if I could still hear her voice. But that's not possible. She's no longer speaking. The only one crying is me. She never cried. Even when she repeated those words over and over, she never expressed any emotion, because there was none to show. If she had no tears to shed for me, then I shouldn't need to shed any for her. Then why? This pain, my eyes getting moist. Why was this happening? I still wanted to believe I hadn't been split apart. That's enough, right? Inside me, an inner voice whispered gently. My spirit had suffered enough. And countless times I'd wavered over whether I should just throw the battered thing away. Except, I've stubbornly refused to do that, haven't I? I'd feel better if I just threw it away. Even knowing that, I chose to believe, didn't I? Only I can understand that painful struggle and appreciate it. Hey, me. I've tried more than enough. I'll acknowledge that much. So, isn't it alright just to take the easy way out? Besides, I'm not throwing it away. I'm leaving it behind, with her. Like flowers by a grave. Now then, calm your nerves. Even though you can't feel your right arm, just lift it up. And with every swing, forget a little more. That kindness made me happy. That adorable smile brought me joy. I liked petting your head. I loved how demure you were. Because this will be the last time. Because when I swing this down, I'll forget. This is my first and last banquet for you. Perhaps I really did love you. I feel it's important to mention, it doesn't show it now, but the first achievement you get is called Farewell. God, that opening part just, Somebody has been apologizing for a while now. I wonder what she's apologizing for. It felt wrong to eavesdrop, so I tried to ignore it. It had been a while since I last went to the city. I only returned to attend the funeral of a relative. Even though I've lived there until last month, I found the bustle of the city to be overwhelming. Those skyscrapers and the multi-lane roads, the melodious cacophony of the crosswalk, even the campaign speeches blaring in from the station felt nostalgic. The place where I live now isn't nearly as lively. There's only the chirping of lotus and the babbling of brooks, and the cry of the Higurashi, the evening cicadas. Rather than making me feel lonely, the quietness had begun to instill a sense of serenity. There's nothing where I'm living now. I don't just mean that there aren't any burger joints. There aren't even vending machines. No music stores, no restaurants, and no arcades. Even an ice cream parlor would be unlikely. The nearest town has some stuff like that, but it's an hour away by bike. But come to think of it, it wasn't really a big deal. There were music stores and arcades and ice cream parlors, but it wasn't like I ever hung out at any of them. I had lived in the city for 10 years and never once been to an ice cream parlor. I should have gone at least once. It's only now that I'm starting to regret that a little. Somebody is still apologizing. Who is she apologizing to? She's apologized so much, so just forgive her already. There's no reason anyone should ever need to apologize so much. I started to feel a bit annoyed at whoever was refusing to forgive her. No matter how bad the mistake, there's nothing that can't be forgiven. There's no such thing as an irreparable mistake. You just need to be more careful next time. She's still apologizing even now. Then, has she really done something that can't be fixed? I have no idea what she's done, but if it can't be fixed, then that's all the more reason to forgive her. No matter how much she apologizes, nothing will change. But even so, she keeps apologizing in such a heartbreaking voice. Hey, you, the one she's apologizing to. Why don't you just go ahead and forgive her? She's apologizing in such a pathetic voice. Keiichi, we're almost there. Wake up. I was finally roused from my nap by my father's prodding. It seemed the train had reached its final stop. We'd spent hours riding everything from the bullet train to the local routes. It was hard to believe that the landscape beyond the window in the city I was in half a day ago were in the same country. No, they were even from the same era. From there, we'd take a car deeper into the mountains. Past where the dense forest encroaching on the mountain road suddenly opened up. There, where I live now, Hinamizawa. I'm excited. I'm in a new town. I'm gonna make new friends. It's gonna be great. Even though we were approaching summer, the morning air still had a frigid bite. Although, in exchange, you could fill your lungs up with crisp, clean air. Flipping open the window, I was greeted with a verdant expanse. Nothing but trees. The neighboring house was far away on the other side, so I was probably the only one enjoying that view and that air. I filled my lungs with another deep breath. Since I started living in Hinamizawa, I learned that even air has its own taste. I quickly finished getting ready for school and headed downstairs for breakfast. My mother was the only one there. My father was nowhere to be seen. He was probably up working until the early morning. Dad had a rather unconventional job as a painter. It's such a laid-back profession. Get up when you want, sleep when you want, and work when you want. I was so jealous of that easygoing lifestyle. I even wrote for school that I wanted to be a painter when I grew up. Dad was ecstatic about that. It was just because it looked easy. I'd never tell him that, though. Mom laid breakfast out on the table. Seaweed, pickled vegetables, raw egg, and grilled salmon. My mom was such a good cook, it was scary. A perfect, immaculate, ideal breakfast. Unlike my dad, who didn't even know the meaning of the word schedule, my mom never squandered any time or effort. She hummed a little tune as she brought over the miso soup. It seemed like she was in a good mood today. I'm so happy you've been waking up early since we moved here, Keiichi. If I don't wake up early, I won't have time to eat breakfast. I thought I was being cute, responding with a wise crack after being praised for being good. Full bowl of rice, or, well, happy enough? Pile it on! First, I savored the steaming hot rice with the seaweed. After that, I covered it with the egg. Between bites of rice, I enjoyed the crunch of the pickles. Not bad at all. Excellent, as usual. Watching me clean my plate, Mom gave me a warm smile. I'm so happy you haven't skipped breakfast ever since you moved here, Keiichi. I was not a morning person when we lived in the city. I slept right until the last minute before school and rarely ate breakfast. Boycotting the breakfast Mom made me each morning, that was probably the only way I could protest being forced to attend cram school. I guess that was what you'd call my rebellious phase. I wouldn't so much as look at the breakfast she woke up early every day to make. If I could go back in time, I'd slap myself. Mindful of the time, Mom rushed me along with a wide grin. Isn't it about time to meet up with Rena-chan? Hurry, hurry. Mom really seemed to enjoy the fact that her son was going to school with a girl. Rena's one of my classmates. She really loves looking after people, having to meet me every day without fail. The way I look at it, a guy my age walking to school with a girl was just lame. But, well, keeping a classmate waiting for me every day wouldn't be very considerate. Seriously though, how long does Rena wait there for me every morning? Taking one last gulp of miso soup, I raced for the door. Please thank Rena-chan for the pickles! To think of it, those pickles weren't store-bought, were they? If I'd known that, I would have savored them a bit more. Morning! Kate-kun! Good morning! Her cheerful greeting was as fresh as the morning itself. You're always so early. I didn't mean to right-click. You're always so early. You should try sleeping in sometime. If I sleep in, I'll keep you waiting. She's so conscientious and such a good person. If that ever happens, I'll just leave you behind. Kate-kun, you're so cold! I'll wait for you all the time. I'll leave you in the dust. Without looking back. Why are you so mean? Why? Rena has a slightly troubled look on her face. Toying with her was rather fun because of how quick her mood changed. I'm kidding. I'd wait for you. With those words, Rena seemed to relax. Her face flushed bright red. Ah, thank you. I'd wait forever until you came, Rena. No matter how long. Forever. Rena turned bright red, steam rising from her head as her brain short-circuited. She's especially weak to this sort of talk. It's quite rare to find someone this fun to tease. Have you ever read a romance novel, Rena? Huh? I haven't. Never read any before. From that response, I gathered she was interested in them, but was too embarrassed to actually buy one. I couldn't imagine what would happen if she did read one. She'd probably turn red and pass out. Oh yeah, message from Mom. She said thanks for the pickles. It was nothing. You're welcome. How were they? Not too salty? They weren't that salty. Actually, they were pretty light. They had a pretty light flavor to them. It would have been fine to just be honest and say they were good, but apparently I couldn't be that forthright. I'd like to ask something before that. Were you the one who picked them, Rena? Or was it your mom? Huh? Why do you ask? Were they too salty? Her attitude completely changed as she began to panic frantically. Was it you, Rena, or was it your mom? Why are you asking who made them? Why? Depending on who made them, my opinion of them might change drastically. She counted frantically on her fingers, trying to remember the amount of salt she had used to pickle them. It wasn't like I was trying to tease her, but I couldn't stop myself. Guys who take pleasure in this kind of thing are probably the worst. Guys like me. Rena nervously opened and closed her mouth over and over, trying to mutter a response. It was me. Delicious. Huh? Pretty good. Just like the last one. They went perfectly with the rice. Her face went bright red again. She was completely spacing out. It truly was a lot of fun to tease her. I pray that Rena never gets taken advantage of by some lowlife. Keep at it, Rena. I'll train you until you can handle it like the average person. Or, so I decided it for myself. Let's go. If you keep me on waiting, we'll never hear the end of it. Seeing as she just kept spacing out otherwise, I called Rena back to reality so we could make our way to school. This strange, easily flustered girl is Rena Ryugu. I've only known her for about a month, but I kind of realized it's not just her name that's strange. Mi-chan, good morning! Coming up to the next rendezvous point, we saw another person waiting for us. Noticing us, she waved. Ah, finally! You two are late! Usually you're the one who's late. In sharp contrast to the diligent Rena, this one marched to the beat of her own drum. She's Mion Sonozaki. From what it's worth, she's our senior and head of the class. Morning, Rena. It's been a while. Kei-chan. How many years? So, I was only off 2 days! You don't say! You were so much cuter back then. Mion's gaze stared at my chest and then dropped straight down, focusing on a point between my legs. So she was saying it was my crotch that was cuter back then. Before you ask, just to be clear, I've never actually tried to show it to her. I've grown quite splendidly. You'd be surprised. Not only is he bigger, but he's a little mustache now. Being so engorged with energy every morning is quite a problem, though. I'll introduce you next time, so be sure to greet him properly. Don't say next time. Right now is just fine. How about letting the little guy get a breath of fresh morning air? I don't think I've ever talked so dirty, so you could smell it fouling up the morning air before. Mion sure doesn't act like an old man. Sure does act like an old man sometimes. Gotcha! Time for the big reveal. Hope you don't regret it. As my hand reached for my fly, Rena began to ramble in near panic. Hey! What are you talking about? Red-faced and flustered, Rena tried to play dumb, but it was obvious she knew exactly what we were talking about. How was it? Seeing the city again. Mion switched gears, dropping the dirty talk and changed to a topic something more befitting of a pleasant morning. I only went for a funeral. I didn't have much time. So, yeah, did you look for it? That thing I asked for? You're not listening at all. I just came back from a funeral. I didn't have any time to look around in toy stores. Tisk, tisk, tisk. Toy stores and hobby shops are completely different, you know. It's really difficult to get Western stuff around here, after all. Is this about the games again, Mi-chan? Mion nodded proudly as Rena giggled. Yep, I want a Kei-chan to bring us back a Western Port catalog, you see. A Westport catalog, you see. Westport was short for Western import games. Using the abbreviation did make it sound pretty geeky. You can just get them to send you one in the mail, can't you? Well, guess I have to now. I'm going to get another game full of hot action! This time I'd like a game that's easy to understand. Mion is a board and card game enthusiast, and I hear she's collected quite a lot of different ones. According to Rena, Mion's room has kind of become a museum for domestic and foreign games. If there's a game you think you'd understand, let me play too. Of course! If Kei-chan is up for it, I should warn you though, we're pretty tough. Just what I want. I play all sorts of games. I don't intend to lose. Well, then we'll let you in the group this time, I guess. Bristling with joy from head to toe, Rena looked back and forth between me and Mion. Mion gave her an affirmative wink, and her expression perked up even further. I thought boys preferred to play outside, so I figured you wouldn't want to. Rena laughed happily. With such a friendly conversation, you wouldn't think I'd moved here less than a month ago. I understood that they did all they could to make a transfer student like me feel at home. I'll have to try harder to fit in, so they won't feel like they have to try to make me feel welcome. I felt like I acted a bit too more open than I usually am. It should probably be for the right about this place. Yeah, it's a terrible idea, but we're gonna do it anyway. Hinamizawa was a really small village. Not only was there only one school, there was only one class. The class encompassed all different grades and ages. There were about 30 students at different levels, and they all study in the same class. I'm told that long ago, there used to be a bigger school building, and they had actual separate classes. However, it seemed that something happened that made it become a single class, and now it stayed that way out of tradition. I was shocked at first, but humans adapt pretty quickly. I've already gotten quite used to it. The sound of children playing started right from the morning. With such a lively mood, it felt more like a kindergarten than a private school. Not that that was a bad thing. Mion, who had been walking in front of us up until now, suddenly let me take the lead, right in front of the classroom door. So I was meant to slide the door open and enter the room first. Too bad I wasn't gonna fall for that again! To think, you'd give up the lead here. You meant this to be a test for my skills. Mion chuckles with a hearty smirk on her face. What is it, you guys? Step back, Rena. It's dangerous. She's here! Huh? Then Sadako-chan is... Her name was Satoko Hojo. She was a disrespectful, impudent, bossy kid. The way she talks was annoying, but it would be immature to get worked up over just that. The real problem was this. Quite the obvious trap. A blackboard eraser wedged in the door. It was too obvious. Satoko! A hearty laugh came from beyond the door. Excellent, Kei-chan. It means you win this round? No, this is Satoko we're talking about. I doubt this is it. After falling for such intricate traps since the day I transferred, I no longer let my guard down. Sadako liked to combine a variety of traps. Traps that were simply there to bait you into the main one. Traps that relentlessly kept coming at you like a sadistic Rube Goldberg machine. The list goes on. As well as being clever, they almost never misfire. When you least expect it, she strikes! No escape, no time to relax! By the looks of it, this eraser is normal. No rocks or anything in it. I took a pretty heavy hit from a blackboard eraser loaded with rocks on my first day. So then why don't you just open the door and let it drop? That's what it is! That's what Satoko was after, making me focus my attention upwards, so I lifted my hand to the door. There were thumbtacks stuck in the sliding door handle with tape. A frightening trap. A potent and terrifying trap. Concealed by using the blackboard eraser. An impressive combination, Satoko, but in the end nothing more than trivial machinations of a child. Assured of my victory, I threw the door open and stepped into the room. I felt something rather strange at my ankle. It was similar to the sensation of a jump rope catching on my leg. By the time I realized she had me, hook, line, and sinker, it was already too late. I began to fall in an almost picturesque manner. Kei-chan, watch out! Instinctively reacting to Mion. Oh, fuck, that was Mion. Kei-chan, watch out! Instinctively reaching to Mion's shrill warning, I twisted my body in midair before I landed on the floor. Oh! An inkstone, filled to the brim, was placed right where I would have landed. I shuddered, imagining the situation had I landed square on it. My, what do we have here? A fair morning to you, Kei-san. Aren't we a lively one this morning? Still sprawled in an awkward position, I was greeted by a mocking voice. That was a step up from your usual trap, Sadako. I haven't the faintest idea what you mean. You're quite unlucky this morning. You little... It seemed I'd inadvertently sprained my back a little when I had landed. Better than landing on that inkstone. A small hand gently rubbed my head. Pain, go away. The small, dainty hand continued to gently stroke my head. You didn't sprain your back or anything, did you? If you rub it like this, the pain disappears. I thought about asking how rubbing my head would help my back, but I didn't. It's not so much what you actually do, it's the thought that counts. Yeah, thanks, Rika-chan. The pain's going away now. Yay! Rika-chan, good morning! Good morning to you, Reina. Good morning to you all. Rika-chan greeted each of us with an adorable little bow. It was infectious. Rena, Mion, and I all bowed back. You're such a good kid, Rika-chan. So much better than Sadako! I glared over in her direction. Sadako was whistling, with rather deliberately trying to avoid eye contact. I'm the very model of a good girl! A good girl wouldn't set those nasty traps! Nothing but lies and slander! Exactly what proof... Ah! I picked up Sadako by the back of her collar. She looks like a misbehaved cat when I do this. But a cat wouldn't be setting traps. She's much harder to deal with. I'm sorry! I'm sorry. Try saying that. If you won't say it... I cocked my index finger on my thumb, letting it tremble as I brought it closer to Sadako's forehead. I'm against violence! You don't even have any proof! Just so you know, my forehead flick really hurts. It could split plywood right in half. Stop! Get away from me, you beast! Don't say it in a way that people will misunderstand. A small hand tugging the back of my shirt.
She's been lonely since you were gone for 2 days.
Mika-chan, please, just so. How can I do anything more than just after being told that? I gently released my grip on Sadako, who was at this point on the verge of tears. She still had her eyes clamped shut as she braced herself for the forehead flick.
Doesn't bother me. You mustn't cry, Satoko. Keep on fighting. Yeah.
Rika gently petted the head of her prankster friend. You would never guess that these two are the same age. I think Sadako could learn a thing or a million from Mika-chan.
Next time, set an even more amazing trap.
Wait a minute! As she observed the scene, Rena's expression grew ecstatic as she began to swoon.
Oh, Satoko-chan is crying! So cute!
You can't take them home.
Oh, but they're so cute!
You can't, no matter how cute they are.
But just for a bit, that's fine. That's fine.
Rena kept a cutesy face, even as outrageous ideas spewed from her mouth. According to Mion, Rena is ridiculously weak to cute things and always tries to take them home. Object or person. Stealing is bad, but abducting people is even worse. Give it up.
Then I can just look. Just looking. That should be fine, right? Right?
Rena swooned over Sadako's crying form. If a girl ever goes missing in Hinamizawa, I'll be forced to turn Rena into the authorities. Forgive me, Rena. I'll be sure to bring you care packages when they put you away. The teacher's coming! Quickly, clean everything up! Sadako, that inkstone's yours, right? Just from Mion's single statement, the entire mood of the room shifted back to normal. The inkstone was bad, but the thumbtack stuck to the door handle were an even bigger problem. I pulled the tape off carefully, making sure not to skewer myself. Even though Sadako was the one who set it up, everyone had to pick up after her. By the time the teacher entered the room, the bedlam from before had been neatly tidied up.
We made it in time!
Rise! Attention! Mion gave out the morning commands. Who puts thumbtacks on the door? It was difficult being the teacher for all these different grades in one class. She has to teach something different to each one, but naturally she ends up spending all her time with the younger kids. Rena and Mion, being in the highest grade in class, end up mostly doing self-study. They even end up helping teach the younger kids, so it seems like they can never get their own studies. They're actually way behind where my studies have progressed to. As a result, I'm pretty much taking over for the teacher and helping Rena and Mion with their studies.
You're a pretty good teacher, Kate-kun. Easy to understand.
Rena took a breather after finishing highlighting an important section. Teaching is making me lose confidence. It's making me aware of how shallow my understanding of the subject is. They say that to teach someone something, you need to understand it backwards and forwards. So while you're teaching us, you're getting in your own practice. In contrast, this person over here is quite laissez-faire about things. For one, isn't she supposed to be in a higher grade than me? Look, Mion, this is for your own good. If you don't take this seriously, there'll be trouble later on. With these marks. It's not like I'm aiming to go on to a pretentious school. Prestigious, the word is prestigious. Prestigious school. Evidently, I need to, learn to prepare to go to a prestigious school. I'll be fine as long as I pick up what I need to know for the entrance exams a little at a time. Her starch defiance was really something else. It was a different type of relax than somebody who already knew what was going to be on the entrance exam.
Me-chan, Kate-kun is doing his best to teach us. We need to try hard too.
You're such a good and honest kid, Rena. I'll make sure you guys get accepted into a good school.
What? Thank you so much!
Especially you, Rena. Private lessons, just the two of us.
Private lessons?
A puff of smoke, shaped like a halo, popped out of Rena's head. Exactly what kind of private lessons is she fantasizing about and making her turn so red? I'd like to hear the play-by-play about the next time. While Mion was flipping through her vocabulary flashcards, she threw out a casual question. So in the city, do you have to study this much? If you don't know at least this much, you can't get into university. So you study just to get into university? Well, yeah, basically. While knowing that this stuff won't ever come in handy in the future. How? Out here? You can get into university as long as your attendance is good enough. Really? Study equals entrance exams. Having that basic law the universe so easily overturns sent me into a state of shock.
That's right. There aren't really enough people here to warrant weeding them out with an exam.
If anyone can get into a university, then there's no need to be all tight about this stuff, right? Well, that's true, but you should at least know stuff that's common knowledge. This old geezer thinks that instead of wasting time studying pointlessly, you should be spending your precious teen years doing more meaningful things. It was too profound of a statement to simply laugh off. But since it was Mion, it probably didn't actually have that deep of a meaning. In place of a chime, the sound of the principal waving a handbell drifted through the classroom. Kei-chan, we're done! It's our wonderful lunchtime! In a complete 180 from her unmotivated state, Mion gave the commands that signaled the end of the morning period.
Kate-kun, let's have lunch!
I might have been making a very troubled face. Mena smiled brightly at me.
All right, let's eat!
There seemed to be different cliques, even within the class. Most of them divided by gender and age, but our group was different. Our ages were different, and we had both boys and girls. But we weren't reserved around each other. This level of openness makes a transfer student like me pretty happy. Rena and Mion pushed their desks together so they were facing each other. At the same time, Sadako and Rika-chan were slowly lugging their desks over as well.
Kate-kun, hurry!
Rena waved her chopsticks in an unrefined manner, trying to hurry me along. Unless everyone was together, they wouldn't even open their lunchboxes.
Kate-san's lunchbox is most assuredly filled with nothing but bread crust like some sort of destitute plebeian. Why don't you just show it to us? Come on now!
Even though Sadako was hurling insults at me, she still wouldn't open the lid of her lunchbox until I was there. I pulled out my lunchbox swiftly and dragged my chair over to join the circle. Hey, sorry to keep you waiting.
Well then, Representative Me, please give the signal to start.
At first, this was kind of embarrassing, but I got used to it pretty fast. At this point, I probably wouldn't even open my own lunchbox if someone else was too slow. Our ages and genders may have been all different, but we were all friends.
Let's eat!
The sound of our little 5-part chorus echoed beautifully throughout the classroom. Really though, I've gotten pretty used to this group made up of all girls. Of course, there are other boys in the class, but they were a lot younger, so they were scared to approach me. Well, that's to be expected. Younger boys just see older boys as scary. Compare that to girls, well, at least these girls aren't picky. We put all the side dishes in the middle where everyone is free to pick at them. I thought girls would mind sharing a meal with a guy, so I was a bit flustered joining in. However, Mion noticed that and teased me quite a bit. As the fruit of my efforts, I could now reach over and take sides from anybody's lunch.
My, isn't Sir Keiichi's lunch extravagant today?
My, isn't Madame Sadako's lunch extravagant as well? The stewed stuff has a nice look to it, rather trendy. Buying into the fight that Sadako was starting, our chopsticks locked in a cross-counter, stabbing into each other's lunch.
My, how delicious!
Oh, this taro is good! The stewed stuff is good too, even cold. After seeing my happy face, Rika-chan's expression broke into a little smile.
I saved some from dinner last night.
By the way, Sadako and Rika-chan's lunches are always the same. It seemed that Rika-chan makes it for the both of them every day. Rika-chan made this too. These taste like Mom's home cooking. I was honestly impressed. I gotta stop hitting that button. Ay. The carriage rosettes weren't from a mold, and they were done by hand with a knife. That's not easy to do. I guess Rika-chan's just as good at this sort of thing.
She's really good at stewing?
Oh, shit!
She's really good at sewing, laundry, and stuff like that. Amazing, right? Amazing!
Rika's quite exceptional in many ways. nothing for you to boast about.
Rena's actually better at cooking than I am. Huh? Well, you know.
It seemed that the topic of conversation switched to Rena when she wasn't expecting it, making her blush and trip over her words. God, I love Rena! That is so sweet and cute. Rena's lunch always really was the star of the table. Not only did it look good, it tasted good. Everyone else pulled from Rena's lunchbox constantly.
Everyone liked this one so much before, so I made it a lot this time. It's good, I hope.
It's got high marks from me. Ah, Mion, you're taking too much! Knocking Mion's chopsticks aside, I reached out, trying to secure my own portion. Sadako and Rika-chan reached over at the same time, and the struggle ensued. Everyone shoveled in mouthful after mouthful while praising it, and Rena's lunchbox was soon empty. It was kind of bad that no one thought to leave any for Rena, but Rena seemed rather satisfied as she looked on.
How'd you like it? Isn't Rena-san an extremely good cook too? Quite different from Kate-san.
I said that's nothing for you to boast about!
You're not much different from Kate-chan, Satoko. Can you tell the difference between broccoli and cauliflower yet?
Satoko's face went pale.
Hey! Even I can tell the difference between broccoli and cauliflower, you know! Of course I can! Of course I can! I really can!
It's really hard for her to lie.
Kate-kun, both taste good when they're boiled and topped with mayo, right? You shouldn't be picking on her. Me-chan too!
Rena hurriedly tried to follow up, but Mion laughed haughtily as she drew closer to Sadako.
Well, just pretend it's a little home ec lesson. Now then, Sadako, what's this?
Mion lifted her chopsticks. Between them was a piece of green stuff wrapped in bacon.
But that's
Mion made eye contact with me, and within 0.3 seconds, I had Rika-chan's mouth covered. Holding a piece of bacon-wrapped asparagus and giving her two choices. She's pretty terrible.
The yellow thing is cauliflower. No, wait, the green one is cauliflower. So which?
Probably the yellow one is broccoli and the blue one is cauliflower, but the green one is Did you really know which is which? How about you just give up? I'd expect no less from the class representative, the oldest. The way she drives people into a corner just shows how much experience she has. This is just a hunch, but being brought into the Sonozaki household must be quite the ordeal.
I do know! I really do!
Then answer the question!
I do.
She finally broke down and started crying. When she acts like this, she really actually starts to shame her age. Rena entered a state of euphoria as Sadako bawled her eyes out. Rena was in a state of bliss as she rubbed her cheek against Sadako's head and smothered her. Really, a very content face. One that wouldn't care if the world ended right then. It was that kind of smile.
It's okay. Rena-chan will take care of all those bad people who tease my little sister.
Fish boom boof! It was like a flash of lightning. What was that just now? Both of Rena's fists shot out at supersonic speed, striking Mion and me squarely in our faces. Before we knew it, Mion and I were sprawled spread eagle on the floor, staring up at the ceiling with matching whelps on our faces. This is the first time you've gotten it, right? Today, she went easy on us. Easy? I mean, there's something harder than this? With that, Mion and I both slumped our heads back on the floor in unison. From now on, I'll be careful when I'm within striking distance of Rena. What? Got something to say?
See? Satoko-chan, I took care of them. Cute! I want to take you home! Omochikaeri!
Making sure Rena couldn't see it, Satoko stuck her tongue out at us. Damn it all! Using Rena like a puppet! Rika-chan massaged our bruises without saying a word. This bitch! I'm a puncher! God damn it, Sadako, you little bitch! No matter what the day had held, the last school bell always came too soon. Our shadows stretched off into the distance.
Hey, Kate-kun, tomorrow do you have plans or anything?
Huh? It was such a direct question from Rena, I inadvertently blushed. if it was for a date, then wouldn't it do more subtly? Rena saw me lost for words and realized I had misunderstood, and turned red as well. No, I am not Rena. Okay, sometimes I am Rena, sometimes I am Mio, and sometimes I am Rika, but I am never Satoko.
No, I didn't mean it like that, you see.
So apparently it wasn't what she had meant. But since it was always fun when Rena's in a panic, I went along with it a little. Oh, really? So it wasn't meant that way.
Huh? Huh?
Playing it up, I slumped my shoulders, feigning dejection.
Kage-kun, why are you so disappointed? Why? Mii-chan!
Unable to hold it any longer, Mion slapped me on the back. I see, this old geezer never knew you could push her buttons like that.
What is it?
Mion was rolling on the floor, clutching her stomach, while Rena played around, completely bewildered. I couldn't help but start laughing as well. Feeling just a bit guilty, I ruffled Rena's hair. Just kidding, sorry, it was a joke. That was my fault. She really is a cute one.
Huh? A joke? Since when?
Huh? About halfway through.
Halfway? So, Kate-chan, that means you weren't acting when you were blushing at the start? Huh? That means...
It was only a momentary lapse, but there was no way Mion would let such a delectable detail slip by her. Well, you see... Saying anything more was also a bad idea. In my bewildered state, I slipped further into an unfavorable position. After that, Mion continued to tease me about it for a while. Damn it, Mion! Damn you, Mio! So, why were you asking me if I'm free tomorrow, Rena?
Huh? Oh! What were we talking about?
It had been so long that Rena had forgotten. That's how long Mion had teased me.
It's just Kei-chan. You probably can't find your way around Hinamizawa by yourself yet, can you?
That was true. I hate to say it, but if you blindfolded me and spun me around 3 times like we were playing pin the tail on the donkey, I wouldn't be able to tell you up from down here. Yeah, I don't think I know how to get anywhere besides back and forth from school.
Yes, you see, tomorrow we were thinking that Mii-chan and I could escort you to Hinamizawa and show you around.
That would be a godsend. Frankly, I was happy about the offer. You'll come, of course, right? If I'm free. You're being invited by a girl, you know. If I'm free. You're probably free anyway. If I'm free. I was being stubborn, so as not to give a clear yes or no. Even though I thought it was a godsend, I was too much of a scamp to say so up front.
Kate-kun, you're not free, perhaps?
While Mion and I had our rather sour back and forth, Rika peeked over at me hesitantly. Figuring I'd been a bit too rough on her, I just gave in. Sorry, forgive me, I apologize. I'm free.
Free!
The trepidation disappeared from Rena's face as it blossomed into a smile. Hey now! Sorry. Seems like there's quite a difference between how cold you are to me compared to Rena, isn't there? You're bitch! It seems Mion didn't care for how rude I was to her compared to how quickly I agreed with Rena. But her being annoyed was very interesting. So I pushed Rena forward, speeding up our pace to leave Mion behind. Let's go, Rena. Maybe it should just be the 2 of us tomorrow. Leave old grumpy Mion behind.
Huh? Whoa! If Kei-kun is okay with that, then...
I'm the one who came up with the idea to take him around. Don't ignore me, Keishi Maribara! It'd be great if the 2 of us could just go on a picnic together. Should we bring a basket, Rena?
If we're bringing a basket, I'll make all the food, baby.
Don't you ignore me too, Rena! I'll tell everyone how you 2 disappeared into the hotel district together. Ooh.
Well then, I'm going home right now to start baking it. Tomorrow's going to be so fun. Later, Kate-kun, Mii-chan, bye!
Rena bounded off like she was walking on the moon. After the dust settled, all that was left was me standing next to Mion, sprawled out on the ground. There was a welt on her face. Are you alright? That was over 2 meters between you guys. Since you came, they've become sharper. This little geezer's body can't handle it. Maybe
maybe it'd be easier if you stopped saying stuff that makes Reina want to hit you. Or else this will end up me on slapstick comedy hour. If that happened, the results might be fatal. Don't feel bad, Mion. You're probably the only one who can dodge her jabs. It felt like it was her knee, though. Could it be that we were hanging around with an unrivaled martial arts master? Maybe someday we'll see her debut in extreme contact sport. You can't lose to Reina. You need to train up and have a rematch. Kate, you should... This old geezer will root for you. Mion and I reaffirmed our determination to discover a way to counter Rena's infallible technique. Infallible. Frickin' Rena. It's so nice, isn't it? Like, this beginning part is, like, so nice, but after being led up with that, you receive new tips. We're mixed grade. You don't have a uniform? Ah, tips are an extra thing. You all new tips. Welcome to Hinamizawa. How long have I been going? It hasn't been an hour yet, So Rena, we're the same age?
Yes, that's right. We're in the same zodiac animal, too.
Hey now, it'd be weird if we were the same age but not the same zodiac animal. That's not true. If your birthday isn't the same, then you could have different animals even if you're the same age. Huh? Oh, I see. Mion, you're pretty smart.
What month were you born, by the way, Cage-kun? I'm July.
Rena smirked and puffed up with pride. Hey now, what's the meaning of this? She's not planning to be all high and mighty if her birthday was a wee bit sooner than mine, is she? Heh, don't even. It's impossible to challenge me by birthday. I wouldn't even mind if you bet $1 per month.
Huh? Why?
Rena panicked at suddenly being challenged to a wager. Given how panicked she is, I'm certain she doesn't even have much of an allowance left this month. Just sending her into a panic about something as simple as a birthday is so fun, I can't help myself! So that means you were born in April, Kei-chan? Right on! Too bad, Rena. I already fall her older than Rena.
Oh, I see. Then you're the same age as me-chan.
Well, it's just a few months. The gap will open up again soon enough. Mion snickered through her nose. Well now, that's not something to get all high and mighty about, as if I'm the one to talk. Now that you mention it, you're on a higher grade, right, Mion?
If you're in the underclassmen, then I can be an underclassman from now on. Me-chan, you're not making any sense to me.
Just by seeing Rena's blushing face, I could tell she knew exactly what she meant by it, though. Then Sadako and Rika-chan are underclassmen. Their grade is so different that they should be in a different school, shouldn't they?
Kate-kun, your tastes are a bit young, I think.
You're not making any sense yourself, Rena! I'll just grab onto her head and scruff it up a bit.
Oh, stop it!
I wonder about it before, yeah? I was wondering why the school has different school years all mixed up. There aren't enough classrooms. Can't help it. This building is being rented from the forestry services, after all. When she says it like that, it makes sense. I've thought our school was strange for a while now. The schoolyard is gravel, there are rooms that aren't for classes, and there's some strange sort of construction machinery parked here. Why is it being borrowed? What happened to the real school? There was one here forever from before the war. It got dilapidated. They closed it down. Probably was a grand old schoolhouse. Well, because of that, the students would have to attend the school in the city. That's pretty far, though, you know?
Which school would that be?
Did you know there's a school if you pass by the Okinomiya train station? Turn to the hospital and head towards the pediatrics department?
What? So far?
I couldn't tell where that was by the location, but I understood it was pretty far from Rena's reaction. Well, that's why. The guys that didn't want to commute to Okinomiya rented out the building from the forestry services and are attending this schoolhouse here.
About half the children in Hinamizawa go here. There are quite a lot of kids that come here on bike.
Well, since they're attending this real messed up school, it might be pretty hard for them to get into higher education.
That's not true, Mi-chan. If you study properly, you can go anywhere you want.
Yeah, that's right. I totally agree with Rena on this one.
Yes, that's right! That's right! Let's try our best.
All of you try your best. This old man will be rooting for you. Not just us, you too. You should be preparing for exams, shouldn't you? Your future is bleak with grades like this. Fine, just fine. If I get stuck, then I'll just mooch off Kei-chan as he works forever.
What do you mean by work forever? What do you mean?
Hey, you're too loud. Be quiet during self-study. The teacher yelled at all three of us. It was completely our fault. Satoko saw it and chortled haughtily. I stuck out my tongue at her in response. But if I don't want to prepare for exams, exactly! It's just as Mion says. This school was nothing to do with higher education, but it makes up for that by having lots of valuable things other schools don't. It's nice. You don't have a uniform? It's only June, but it's already so hot. I could hear the Higurashi outside chirping, me, me. And at night there are mosquitoes. It might as well be summer already. My only salvation was that the mornings were still cool. Summer, I do declare! Sadako was flapping her skirt languidly. That's pretty unladylike there. Even if she was a little brat, she was still a girl. Keiichi does seem quite cool with just a single button-up shirt. So jealous. From how I see things, the skirt you're wearing looks like it'd be much cooler. A girl like you just wouldn't understand. Wearing jeans during the season and how steamy the crotch gets.
It gets steamy. Oh.
This girl is gone imagining something indecent. Venice summer clothes have nice, refreshing color. I feel cooler just looking at them.
Thank you. They really do feel pretty cool.
I do wish my summer clothes were as breezy as Rena's.
But Sadako-chan, your summer clothes are so cute, being one piece and all. I'd like to wear your summer clothes. This is actually quite stuffy, you know. I do believe what you're wearing would feel much cooler. But it wouldn't it be much more fun with cute clothes? Oh.
I have a feeling that Rena and Sadako's base values were fundamentally different. Speaking of which, our school doesn't have a uniform.
Yeah, it doesn't. As long as they're proper, then regular clothes are fine.
There's quite a few students in regular clothes. There were a few wearing uniforms, but they were all the same design and rather plain. What's the uniform they're all wearing? They're all the same.
So that's the city school's uniform. It's not like there's a rule, but they're all wearing them.
Speaking of which, everybody in our group's wearing different uniforms, aren't we? Did you all go out of your way to get them from somewhere?
Why, yes. Mion-san supplied them. Mi-chan's relative runs a second-hand clothing store. They can get school clothes from all over the country for cheap, they say.
So you asked those relatives to get a bunch of unique school uniforms then? That Mion. She probably loves using her friends as dress-up dolls. That must be a strange second-hand clothing store. I get that it's a second-hand clothing store, but stocking clothes from schools all over the country? That's pretty strange for a second-hand clothing store. What's the point in stocking up clothes from faraway schools they know nothing about?
Yeah, I think so too. They all have used school swimsuits and PE uniforms. I don't like the idea of having used ones.
Doesn't that sound like a shop that makes much money? They probably have Mion pitch in and help so they can make a bit more. But Mion says it's a big hit and became a great store. With such conviction. A second-hand clothing store that stocks school uniforms would be a big hit? I don't get it. I'm gonna save. That is a lot of files!
Continue.
I'm gonna go for a bit through this chapter and then we'll call it a night. I took it a little too easy the morning of my day off. I was totally late. Today was the day Rena and Mion were going to show me around Hinamizawa. Okay, have a good night. Bye, Mayura. Rena and Mion were already waiting at the meeting place.
Kei-chan, you're late.
Sorry, the show I was watching last night was really interesting. Blame that. Oh, so that's her excuse for being late and keeping two girls waiting.
Mean-chan, you just got here yourself.
Last night's episode of A Day in the Life of was interesting, wasn't it? She was just as guilty as me. And I was carrying a pretty heavy-looking handbag. What is that? Mion answered my unspoken question with a wink. That's right, Rena really did make a picnic.
Kei-chan, after you left,
Rena pulled out all the stops. It's not like I forced her to do it.
It was nothing, so don't worry about it.
She's been like that since last night, you know? Can you take responsibility for this? Alright. I am a man after all. I'll take responsibility.
Huh? Responsibility? For what? For what?
As we both turned around slowly to look at Rena, our gaze drifted downwards to the massive handbag she was carrying. It didn't seem logically feasible that it would be entirely filled with lunchboxes. Except this was Rena we were talking about here. About 2 kilos, I guess? When Rena was picking it up, I could see she was struggling a bit. I say 5.
You're exaggerating! H-Kid is a boy after all. I thought he could probably eat a lot, so I made a lot, okay? Let's get going! Heave-ho!
Yes, and the way she's lifting it, I couldn't believe that the only things in there were lunchboxes. Correction, I say 5 kilos too. I'll help out, but all of it needs to be eaten. I won't forgive you if you make Rena sad, got it? The only thing I could do at the moment was exercise a bit, making myself hungrier. Having finished with the pleasantries, we began our leisurely stroll. A carefree walk, bathed in the gentle morning sunlight. I couldn't have even imagined something so wholesome existing during my time in the city. These were the boonies after all. No sloven desk jockeys trudging to work on weekends out here. Really was a nice place, peaceful and quiet. As sparsely populated as the village was, you could still run into people just by walking around. Ah, good day!
Good day! Oh, you would be Meibara-kun, I believe.
My 2 companions exchanged greetings with everybody we ran across. All these passerbys even knew my name. When did I become this famous? We passed 3 people, and when all 3 of them knew me, I started to feel a bit paranoid. Haha! It's a bit sad to say. Everyone knows everyone, since there's so few people here in Hinamizawa. So that means when an unfamiliar face walks by, they automatically assume that it's that Meibara fella who just moved up here? Yeah, that's how it works. It was a process of elimination you could only pull off on a place like this, but it was quite effective. From now on, I'd better make sure to maintain a good reputation. The day I'm discovered accidentally gawking at dirty magazines in the bookstore, I can expect all the villagers labeling me as a lech by the next day. Hinamizawa is not to be trifled with. It's not the end of this nightmare.
Of course I know them. The first person we meet was old man Takezawa from the Mikono bike shop. His hobbies are bonsai and playing the flute.
Next, we met the grocer's second son, Daisuke-kun. His hobby is sharpshooting, and he hopes to be an ace sniper in the future. And the person we just met was Mio-san, the nurse from the clinic. Her hobbies are birdwatching and photography. You know the names of everyone we passed by, and even their profiles? Seeing my surprise, Mion and Rena exchanged looks and burst into laughter. Well, yeah, we're not like the city, where people hardly know their neighbors. Then let's try it out. You there, who am I?
You're Keiichi Mayamura. You say some mean things, but you're actually a kind, shy person.
It's been 3 weeks since you transferred here. Your hobby is taking afternoon naps. Lately, you switched over to wearing boxers. Didn't you? That's enough! That's enough!
Boxers?
Enough of that! Apparently, there's absolutely nothing you can keep hidden here. Hinamizawa is not a place to be trifled with. This feels more like you guys are showing me off rather than showing me around.
That's right.
We're parading around like this after all. Don't you all think so too? That Kei-chan is fitting right in here in Hinamizawa. The population in Hinamizawa is shrinking, so the villagers are welcoming anybody who's new here. I thought about brushing it off as something to the effect of, "You're kidding me," but I held back. Had I ever greeted someone who had just moved in the city like this before? Thinking about that made me believe that they said wasn't a joke after all. They passed another person. Of course, we were called out to again the same way. Oh my, good day! It's wonderful seeing you getting along. That lady there is Fujishima-sama. Son, good morning! Oh my, Kage-kun! Mayamata-kun! How wonderful for you having a lovely girl on each arm. How are you? Getting used to life here? Instead of regurgitating a prepared response like I would have had in the city, I responded with an empathetic nod. The old woman chuckled, voicing her appreciation for how energetic I was. Good! As I looked back over to Rena and Mion, they gave me a wink.
So, now then, how about time to have lunch? Maybe?
Rena's brilliant smile signaled the approach of an event that both Mion and I were trying to forget. We both looked at each other. I'm a man. I'll do what I can. But it's just too much.
It's fine, Kei-chan. Leave it to this old man.
Mion has never seemed as reliable as she does right now. I'd expect no less from the class representative. Then if we're going to eat, we might as well go somewhere with a good view.
Yes, good idea, I agree.
Rena nodded her head happily in response to Mion's proposal. Oh, the shrine! That's a nice place to have a picnic. Cresting the top of a stone stairway, a shrine drawn straight out of my imagination appeared before us. It had worn down a bit through the years, but the falling leaves had been swept up, giving it a tidy appearance.
This here is the Fudere Shrine. It's probably the place with the best view around.
This place. Be sure to remember it. On our next break, a festival will be held here. Isn't a bit too early in the season for a festival? The Watanagashi isn't a summer festival. Long ago, it used to be a celebration of the end of winter. I was embarrassed for assuming the festivals had to be held in the summer.
Now then, spread out the lunch boxes, and there.
Various colored lunch boxes were placed one after the other on top of the plastic sheet. It sure did smell delicious. It was Rena's home cooking. It went without saying that it would be delicious. But is it even possible to finish all of this? Hey, Mion, it'll take more than just a good view to get this all down, you know.
Good afternoon.
It was Rika-chan and Satsuko. Why are they here? Mion grinned over at me. I see. This is her secret plan. To power in numbers. You have my thanks, Mion. Following up when all the pieces are in place is my specialty. We had just come since there was such a commotion. What's the meaning of this? Take a look. It's time for lunch. Buffet style. A handmade gourmet meal by Rena. I can see that much. Why have you laid out a tarp on our property? The temple is public grounds. It's not yours.
Kate, she's right. This is everyone's property.
Wow! Rika-chan is such a good girl. Have a seat. Eat with us. After opening a spot for Rika-chan, I promptly turned my back on Satsuko. Hold on 1 second. Where's my spot? No spot for you and nothing for you to eat.
Don't worry, there's some for you too.
None! I'll eat Oliver's! I will not allow that! Rika!
Here, chopsticks.
Both Satsuko and I leapt at the boxes, having it out with each other. Man, really, Kei-chan, you're really good at leading people on. You might have a talent for this.
Have a plate, one for me-chan and Rika-chan too.
Rena whipped out pairs of chopsticks and paper plates. If we don't hurry, it'll be all eaten up. That's right. Okay, shall we commence this battle?
Please eat a lot. There's enough for everyone,
Rena said as she opened up a thermos. Just then I realized this lunch was made under the assumption that 5 people would be eating. It didn't change how much there was, but the implication behind it was different. I will not allow you to have this hamburger! Using your elbows against the rules, Satsuko! Grabbing the back of my collar is also against the rules! It was a tough battle. Blocking with her full momentum and an elbow in the opening move, Satsuko appeared to have the upper hand, but the difference in our proficiency with chopsticks proved to be fatal and gave me the upper hand. The last people! Satsuko Hojo has been bested! Nom! Satoko and I, admirably, began choking at the same time, falling backwards and spasming. Rika-chan patted me on the head to clear it, even though it was actually stuck in my throat. Seeing that made Rena blush and breathe heavily in excitement. It was almost like flowers were floating all around her. Mion advised Rena to refrain from saying anything that could get her locked up. This is how our meals usually go. I'd do anything in my power, just so things could stay like this. The intense battle calmed, and finally everyone reached a point where they could begin talking. Receiving tea from the thermos, I let out a small sigh. I do wonder why there's so few words in Japanese to praise how something tastes. Isn't it because the idea of togetherness during a meal didn't begin until the modern era?
It seems that long ago people ate in silence. It must have made the people preparing the food be a bit sad, don't you think?
It's probably because back then people were busy even while eating, and didn't have time to compliment the flavor. That's just you.
But, just hearing that it's good makes me happy. That's my effort was worth it, I mean.
She blushes a little as she said that.
It was delicious.
With absolute perfect timing, Rika-chan struck Rena directly with praise. She looked straight at her with an expression of bewitching innocence. After Rena uttered an unintelligible noise, a ring of smoke rose from her head with an audible poof.
Rika-chan, I'm gonna take you home! Baby, thank you!
It was really delicious. Rena flushed red with excitement, embracing Rika-chan and rubbing her cheek against hers so hard that you could have almost hear it.
To reward Rika-chan for her praise, ta-da! These are special!
2 apple rabbits. After sticking toothpicks into them, she thrust them towards Rika-chan. After Rika-chan accepted them, the mood suddenly shifted in a bizarre way. What is it, Sadako? What's with that defiant look?
Has everyone prepared proper praise to receive apples from Rena-san?
Don't push yourself. What kind of praise can you think up with your weak vocab?
Well then, allow me to show you!
After Sadako flashed Mion and me a defiant look, she changed her tone of voice suddenly.
Hey, so Reno and Nechan's lunch.
Sadako
thought it was yummy too?
Satsuko looked at her poutedly while talking cutesy. Whoa! How was that praise? That's not even persuasion by tears, that's persuasion by cuteness, isn't it? This is Rena's limited special skill. She blushed and her head spun, waving around in circles. Don't fall for it, Rena! Oh! Of course, I was asking for the impossible. Rena glommed Sadako and began rubbing her cheek against her.
Cute! Sadako is so cute! Take you home!
Swish, stab, push. Sadako was also presented with apple rabbits. After stuffing them into her mouth, she looked over at Mion and me again with that defiant gaze. It took only 5 seconds to take down Rena. That's unfair! To think she had such a trick.
If it upsets you so much, why not reward Rena-san with some praise?
Damn it! That was a dirty trick! First of all, that wasn't even praise. Satoko, you think you've won with that, don't you? How about I show you guys something better than your superficial gimmicks? That sounds great, Mion. What kind of trick is it? Kei-chan is going to be the one who does it. What?
Why don't I have you show me then?
The writhing of an old maid. The plan of attack she suggested was wicked, but it was the only thing we had to beat Satoko. After sipping my tea, I started talking very naturally and calmly, perfectly. It really is good, isn't it? This is all freshly made, right?
No. Actually, almost all of it was frozen stuff.
Then which ones did you make fresh?
Well, it's embarrassing. Do I really have to say it? Must I?
For the synergy of boy plus handmade lunchbox, her expression had melted into euphoria. I already know. This one, right? Rena turned an even deeper shade of red, the words "I can't believe it" practically written on her face.
How can you tell? That I made it?
Of course, Mion had told me beforehand. It's been perfect so far. After acting like I was shy, I waited a beat. Next would be the finisher. I gotta stop hitting right click. It had your smell. Silence enveloped the area. Rena, face still completely red, froze solid. With a small yelp, Satoko also blushed. Of course, I did too. I sure would like to try one of Rena's handmade apple rabbits. Or something. Even if this was all because I was competing against Satoko, I felt like I had crossed the line by a good 9 yards, I think. Then at that moment, boosh! It was a Tupperware container filled with rabbits!
Please, it's okay, Scout! I think I was playing for you!
Instantly, dozens of apples were shoved into my mouth, knocking me over. Okay,
Stay okay, Scout!
My head was forcefully laid upon her lap, and even more apples were shoved into my mouth. While she was squealing, one apple after another was forced into my mouth more and more. Apples. Look who wins! Looks like we win.
Kate-chan, that was a beautiful sacrifice.
How's that, Sadako? That was our complete victory, isn't it? I can't believe it's such trickery! It doesn't bother me at all. Sadako ground her teeth, mortified. We did it. I claimed victory as my consciousness drifted her slowly away from me. At that time, Rena stopped her squealing as she suddenly realized something.
Nika-chan, you're not eating it? Did the salt water make it too strong, maybe?
Looking over, Rika-chan had pulled the toothpick out of the apple rabbit, placed it on her cupped hands, and seemed to be at a loss for what to do.
Poor Mr. Rabbit. I feel sorry for him. I want to save him.
That was the sound of blood spurting from Rena's nose.
Cute! Tonight I will take you home!
She said sporadically, her head wobbling back and forth. Then, coming back to her senses, she took all the apples from me, gathered them up with a whip whip, and fixed them back up on a plate.
Now then, they're all fine, see? Okay? Here, I'll give them to you, Rika-chan. Okay?
Rika-chan raised up Sadako's hand with, like a referee, having had the plate of rabbits shoved at her. She whispered,
This is our victory.
Oh! What? A comeback? Hi. Best honed hair. Thus, my sacrifice ended up being in vain. Death by apple rabbits and still no victory. Death by rabbits. It was a fun-filled, crazy day. But as soon as the sun began to set, the end of the day really came by quickly.
Later, Rena.
Kate-chan, see you tomorrow. Thanks for today, Mion. I had a great time.
See you tomorrow.
Sadako and Rika-chan went home as well. We parted ways with Mion and ended up with just Rena and myself enjoying the evening air on our way home.
Thanks for coming today, Kate-kun. Was it fun?
Yeah, lots of fun. Almost feels like a waste to go home now.
Then, well, would you mind taking a little detour, maybe?
A detour? Is it far?
It's a bit of a walk, but it won't take long.
Since we had been walking almost all day, it must have seemed a bit tired. Not feeling like teasing Rena, I quietly nodded. Traversing a small path and up a small hill, the land suddenly stretched out before us. What looked like the remains of a dilapidated construction site came into view. A huge heap of garbage spread out toward the swamp. Probably illegal dumping. I recall it being in the newspaper.
It's been quite a while. I wonder what's here.
When you say it's been a while, you mean the business you had here was with this garbage pile?
It's not garbage. To me, it's a pile of treasure.
Rena had already entered the well-known cute mode of hers. So that meant there was something cute here? Whoa.
Oh, honey, wow. I can't wait.
She bounded up the unstable slope. I'd expect no less from a born and bred country girl. Hey, wait, I'm coming! Whoa! My city-raised self was completely pitiful.
It's alright, just stay right there, Cage-kun, it won't take long!
Rena kindly declined my accompaniment.
Don't fall! Watch your step! I'm fine, this is nothing at all!
Off Rena goes. Literally bounding up the heaps of trash, Rena disappeared over the other side. I didn't like being left behind, but I was still pretty tired from the whole day, so I ended up watching. Without the lively Rena around, the surrounding area quickly fell into silence. The cry of the Higurashi gently cooled the air. Fairly exhausted, I began to feel a little sleepy. Just then, the sudden noise of scattered pebbles alerted me to somebody's presence. Startled, I turned around. Yes! This is where they find the statue of Colonel Sanders! Standing there was a typical-looking photographer. He spied over at me through his camera. His body was tanned and fit, but something about him seemed unreliable, and he had a bit of an aloof air around him. Well, it didn't seem like he was a bad guy in any case. Oh, whoa! You surprised me. Although startled when I turned around, he overplayed his reaction. That was my line. I'm the one who's surprised here. My bad. I didn't mean to startle you. Are you from Hinamizawa? I gathered that he wasn't from that question. Unfazed by my suspicious outlook, he introduced himself without my prompting. I'm Tomatake, freelancer photographer. I come to Hinamizawa from time to time. I didn't ask who you were. Quite rude to photograph someone without consent, one would think. My bad. I mainly photograph wild birds. They can't refuse, you see. So what, you're saying I'm the same as the birds? No, well, you see, the image of a young man in twilight was just picturesque. I apologize for trying to take your picture without asking. Adults are pretty slick. All that annoyance I felt for being startled just flew away as he buttered me up. I had no intention of hanging around with this guy, trying to get cozy with me, except it didn't seem like Rena would be back soon. This older guy, Tomatake-san, he didn't mind my cautious responses and continued rambling on by himself.
Cage-kun! Sorry to keep you waiting! I'm finished now!
Rena popped her head out from one of the lower piles of garbage and waved her hand.
You have someone with you?
Oh, crap, that's Tomatake. You would have someone with you? What would she be doing over there? That's what I wanted to know. Dunno. Maybe she's checking on that dismembered corpse that was out here long ago. Tomatake-san looked shaken up by that for a moment. Uh-oh. I responded like I would if I was talking with Rena or the others. It was quite a disturbing incident. They still haven't found one of the arms.
Ha! Cage-kun! Sorry to keep you! You were waiting a while, I guess?
I'd best leave you two lovebirds alone. Again, my apologies for starting you, Cage-kun. Get the much burly man and girly voice. I'll get to do that during the next chapter. Like during the next arc. Tomatake-san chortled suggestively and then disappeared into the twilight. Missing my chance to rhetoric put me off a bit.
Cage-kun, are you angry? Why, I wonder.
It wasn't Rena's fault, so I decided to just brush her off for now. How was it? Find a treasure trove?
Oh, yes, so listen. You see, there was a Colonel Sanders doll!
A Colonel Sanders doll? Oh, that thing, those statues that they always have in front of that fried chicken place. That life-size dummy?
Yes, Colonel Sanders! How cute! I want to take it home!
I couldn't tell how she decides what's cute or not, but, well, she seems to want it. It's garbage, right? No one would care if you just take it home, right?
It's become the base of another pile. I can't dig it out easily. There's no lampposts over there, so it'll get pretty dark soon.
Rena seemed quite down about finding a treasure and not being able to bring it back. I'll help you out, to repay you for that delicious picnic you prepared today.
Thank you!
Birds heading home to roost proclaimed that nightfall would soon be upon us.
Cage-kun is going to help! I can take Colonel Sanders home! Oh!
Rena staggered along as if intoxicated in her dreamy state of mind. I tried asking her in a way that wouldn't take her out of her cheery state. Hey, Rena, long ago, did something happen here?
Seems like they were building a dam here. I don't know the details, though. Oh.
Just wondering if you knew about that. About, an accident or something?
I don't know.
Her tone was disturbingly frank. It sounded more like a denial than an answer. I must have appeared rather dumbstruck. Then it quickly lightened her expression.
Actually, I didn't live here until a year ago.
Huh? You transferred here too? I was sure that...
So you see, I don't really know much about before that. Sorry.
Don't really know. Don't want to talk about it. That was the kind of feeling she gave me. Thinking about it, of course it would be like that. This wasn't the type of thing girls would enjoy talking about. It's quite a disturbing incident. It seems they haven't been able to find one of the arms. It was just like Tomotage said. Then I had a feeling only the Higurashi would know.
I think that's a good place to stop.
So I wonder if it's going to do the tips thing or if it's just going to fade to black. Ah, fades to black. Receive new tips. The Maybara Mansion, the Damn Site Murder Dismemberment newspaper edition. Okay. With that, I have to do the Damn Site Murder Dismemberment newspaper edition first. We'll do the tips and then I'll be done for the night. From the June blank 1979 edition. The Shinshubo City Okiyamiya Police Station, late at night. Suspects were arrested at the suspicion of murder and improper disposal of a corpse. The main offender has been added to a wanted list nationwide. According to our sources, the 6 suspects were at the Hinamizawa Dam construction site work night at 9 p.m., where they were suspected to have assaulted and murdered the site overseer as a group, dismembering his body and hiding it. On the 8 o'clock in the morning, a report was filed by the Shinshubo City Hospital at which a male suspect alluded to having murdered. When questioned at the police station, the individual confessed to the crime. Since a portion of the body was recovered at the location he gave, he was arrested that afternoon on the suspect of murder and mutilation of a corpse. The rest of the suspects were arrested the same day, but the main culprit is still at large. Police are currently on his trail. The motive is reported to be a drunken verbal dispute, during which he killed the victim in a fit of anger. However, as there are multiple inconsistencies with their testimonies, the investigation is ongoing.
So, Kei-chan, you're not stinking rich?
What's this all of a sudden? Did I come to school in a limo before?
How much do you get for a monthly allowance?
About $10.
My, that's rather plebeian amount. His lunch is made of normal stuff. He isn't rich.
What are they talking about? To be asked out of nowhere how much I get and then told that it's a plebeian amount.
Sorry.
Then it seems to pick up on my dubious expression and starts giggling.
Kei-chan, your house, it's pretty big, yeah?
So the architecture has people all around Hinamizawa calling it the Maybara Manor, and it sort of stands out. Maybara Manor?
Since the house is so big, everyone's gossiping, wondering exactly how rich you are.
I see. Now I get it. Well, the frame of it is huge. I see how it could cause some misunderstandings.
From my deduction, I wager they'll spend too much money on the building the house, and that's why they're now broke.
Being broke, how very, very unfortunate.
Riko-chan took pity on me as she patted my head. I go from being treated like a millionaire to a beggar. Yeah, sorry for ruining your imagination, but we aren't millionaires or poor. We're the image of a normal, average household.
You can't call it normal with that huge house. The entranceway is grand, and the gate is large enough for a large truck to get through. That's not normal at all.
They do say the bigger the house, the more prosperous you are. The reason the house is so big is because Dad's studios are in it, too. There are a bunch of different workshops, and lots of our works are hung up at different places. All of them are huge, too. For those reasons, the family actually only uses a third of the house for day-to-day living. He planned it out so people and cars could come in to see the gallery he opens up in the house someday. By the way, the entrance Mion is talking about is the one for the studio and is normally sealed off. The entranceway that the Maybara family actually uses is a very plain and simple one. The interior is much different from how it looks from the outside.
I'd really like a chance to explore Kei-chan's house. Claiming not to be rich, but having a home like that. What could be hidden in there?
Maybe there's something cute hidden. Oh. probably no money to purchase furniture, so it's filled with Spartan rooms. If there's a carpeted rooms, I'd love to try rolling around on the floor. Oh, that'd be great, so great, I want to roll around too!
Seems like their imaginations are just piling on. Well, sometime in the near future, wouldn't be too bad to invite them all to my house. Dad's such a sucker for the ladies, he might even let them look around his studio. The cry of the Higurashi crescendos as the sky towered over everything. It was hot, but the air was clear. It smelled like the beginning of summer. Alright, I think that's a good stopping point. Chapter 2, got through 2 chapters. It's pretty big. So, thank you guys for joining me for Higurashi, and for those who are going to view this later. I hope you guys enjoyed watching it. Everyone have a good night, and tomorrow I will stream again with more chapters for the first part of Higurashi. Bye!